Hello, my name is Asif Hussain. This assignment is for Ball State University's SPCE 683 course. I'm going to discuss sign language as an alternative communication method for speakers who have difficulty with using spoken words. One of the benefits of sign is that it offers complete portability. In other words, you only need your hands as opposed to devices or cards. This benefit cannot be understated, especially when compared to other options like PECS, which requires a lot of resources and preparation, and usually does not offer the ability to make spontaneous commands. Sign language also allows for the development of more complex verbal operands, such as intraverbals. This option should be considered for learners who have the ability to imitate fine motor and gross motor skills effectively. The main drawback to this skill is that you cannot communicate with an untrained audience. Sign language is just that, another language, and supplementary options should be considered when communicating with a larger audience. If a learner has difficulties consistently performing signs, then another option is to make modified signs for the learner. You lose a few benefits for doing this though, as the speaker now loses the ability to make spontaneous commands. What's more, their ability to communicate with anything but commands goes away as well. No more intraverbals, no more texts. When teaching sign language to a learner, it is important to prioritize commands which are important to them, and not specifically to the teacher or the caregiver. For example, if you have a client who loves cookies, one of the first words that you should teach them is cookie. If a client loves music, teach them the word music. Emphasize teaching commands that are highly preferred and can be made frequently and immediately available to the speaker. Once they've mastered a few of those, you can then begin teaching other words like bathroom or play. Afterwards, begin increasing these to 2 or 3 word phrases. For example, by teaching the carrier phrase, I want, you can now have the learner say something like, I want cookie, or I want candy. For example, I have a kindergarten client who I have use signs during quiet time so that they don't speak and get in trouble. So they'll say things like, I have garbage, or I need to use the bathroom. The ability to fingerspell also opens up some chance for spontaneous commands as well. Once the client is becoming more proficient in commands, you can then continue to expand their repertoire to include things like tags and intraverbals. One of the most important intraverbals for a child to learn is the word no. It's a very important word for the development of language. Other words that you can know is in sign language. Other words which you can teach to a new learner would probably be things like yes, eat, drink, go, open, or more. But I would recommend teaching these after the learner starts using preferred specific commands, things like cookie and music. Going back to situations where a learner might have difficulties with motor skill imitation, you can make modified commands. So for example, instead of music, you could do something like music, or instead of candy, you can just have them do this for candy. Instead of drink, you can just have them do this. But once again, it's only going to be communicated to a very, very specific audience and not even the verbal community of people who can speak sign language anymore. It is very important to understand the needs of the learner and their capabilities. If the learner is not effectively commanding with signs, after maybe about 2 or 3 months of training, an alternative communication method may need to be considered. This concludes my presentation on sign language as an alternative method of communication. I use the Essential for Living assessment by Patrick McGreevy as my main reference for this video, and I will post the link to his website in the description. Thank you.